So I had you guys ask me a bunch of questions on TikTok and Instagram. I went ahead and wrote them down. You guys want to know why I think certain ways, why I say certain things, how I got my viewpoints, kind of my upbringing. You guys have a lot of things that you want answered, so I figured I went ahead, wrote them down, and I give you the answer to all of them in one video here. So the first question is, what made me want to change? What made me want to start thinking the way I do and saying the things that I say? And kind of like my story, this guy wanted to know. And it really all started back before I was even in high school. Back in middle school, I never really liked the idea of school. Okay, I knew there was something different than just going to school and getting good grades, getting a job, working the job for 40 years, and retiring at 65 with a Corvette and going on vacation once or twice a year. That just didn't sound right. It didn't sound right because it was normal. Like, if that's the norm, if everybody's doing this, why would I want to do it? And I was thinking this way at, I mean, how old are you in 8th grade? 13, 14 years old, maybe 13 years old. And then as I got into high school, I started making money playing video games. And when you make money outside of a job, it's a different feeling. For those of you guys who know, when you get money outside of just trading your time for money, it's a good feeling. It's like an unprecedented type of confidence, if you will. And at 15 years old, I started making thousands of dollars playing video games between the ages of 15 and 16. And I didn't work a job in high school for that reason, because I was making money playing video games. And that would show me, like, I'm making way more money not only now than the people I'm going to school with who work part-time jobs serving or being a hostess, but I'm making the same amount of money as like an adult right now. You know, in the short amount of time I made this money. And then from about 16 to 18 years old is when I started really making a lot of money. I made almost $20,000 in the span of maybe 6 or 7 months just playing video games. So that's kind of what I thought I was going to do. So from a young age, I was already thinking about how to make money from outside of a job. And there was other ways I was making money with not just playing the game. I was making money helping other people as well. At this young age, before I had ever worked a job, before I had ever even, I didn't like getting good grades in school because I didn't like to apply myself in school. The idea of school, not only because I was making money outside of it, but just the idea of school itself, it just seemed like this fallacy, this false sense of, like you're going to get accomplished. Like, oh, you go to school, you get this job, and it's supposed to make you, I mean, everybody knows it's the system, right? Everybody wants you to just go to school, be a good little boy, work that job, get paid, do your job, show up, and die. But that seemed like such a vaporous existence to me from that young of an age. So I knew school was bullshit, unless it's something you really are passionate about and need to go to school about. I knew school was bullshit. I knew there was ways to make money outside of a job because I was doing it at such a young age. And that in and of itself is, I think, a big part of why I think this way. Just because if you want to make money outside of a job, you have to work your ass off. And everything I talk about is just constantly working. You can outwork depression. You can outwork yourself. You can outwork and just work hard and make the life you want. But when you're working a 9 to 5, it doesn't matter how lazy you are or how hard you work. You're more than likely never going to make it to where you want to be financially and put yourself in that successful life position. And along with knowing school was bullshit and I was making money outside of school, I wasn't going to school that much. I just didn't like the idea of going to school. So I was missing so much fucking school. I ended up becoming truant. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, the law kind of gets involved. It's when you're not going to school. And I had to go to court with my parents. I had to basically get forced to go to school before I transitioned. I was going to end up doing online school. This was right around the time of COVID anyway. So everybody kind of transitioned to online school after. So I got put on probation for being truant. I was getting drug tested every week, going to therapists and meetings and just a whole bunch of bullshit. And along with that, I remember at one point I had to go downtown and take some tests and talk to some therapists, and they ended up diagnosing me as depressed. They wanted to know why I wasn't going to school, and my answer to the therapist and my principal and my parents was, I just don't like school. I don't like the way the teachers teach. I don't like the way they teach and like the format they teach. I didn't like any of it, and nobody believed me. People said, are you getting bullied? Are you depressed? Like, what's going on? They ended up labeling me as depressed, and I was about 17 years old at this time. And when they called my dad and told me that, we both looked at each other like, depressed? I'm not fucking depressed. Like, what do you mean? So again, right there, it's like, and then I had to talk to more therapists. They wanted to put me on pills. And the idea, it's like at that young age, I said, the diagnosis of depression is so vague that anybody can just get it. Like, where's my brain scan? How do you know I'm depressed? So that right there was like, why are they diagnosing so many people with depression? So there was a whole bunch of things that just kind of, something was off. Like the more time went on, something, I just knew at this young age, and I'm so grateful that something was off. And I remember one time on probation, I ended up getting sent to a military camp, like a boot camp type thing for a couple days because I didn't want to take a drug test. I was so adamant that the fact that I didn't want to take a drug test because I was just skipping school. I wasn't, doing drugs or getting into fights. I just didn't like school. Kind of mouthed off with my probation officer. She sent me to some military fucking camp. If you're watching this, thank you. It kind of humbled me a little bit. But I was mouthing off with her. She ended up sending me there. And, that experience in and of itself showed me hard work because you're around all these military instructors with a bunch of other kids. And it taught me a lot, as much as I hated it in the moment and as much as I hate to admit that. Because in the moment, I absolutely fucking hated it. And, I thought I wasn't supposed to be there, which in reality, I probably wasn't. But it was good that I went. And when I came home from that, I just kind of started wanting to work more. That's when I started going to the gym. I started eating right just from that experience alone. And so that was kind of a catalyst, if you will. So I had all those things going on in my upbringing, along with my childhood and things I went through in my childhood, which I think molded me into the person I am today and why I think certain ways. And after a year after that experience, I started getting into the self-improvement space, along with going to the gym, watching those motivational videos. And guys, they feel good. Those motivational videos that release that dopamine, you're watching Goggins and Jocko and Joe Rogan, all these people, they're very inspirational and it makes you feel good when you watch them, but you didn't put any work in. And then I started watching videos about getting called out. People would call out my situation. I was just being lazy. I knew there was more. I knew I had to be doing more work other than just going to the gym. And I felt called out by these videos. And ultimately, people say, Jason, how do you say to just do it? How do you say to just change the way you think? Well, that's what I did. I started feeling called out on these videos that I'd see on the internet, and I tried neglecting them. I tried not listening to them, just scrolling. But for some reason, they just kept popping up more and more. And I said, okay, fuck it. I'm going to try it. I don't really like the way my life feels. I don't feel very accomplished. I feel like I'm missing something. I have nothing to live for. Like I didn't have a purpose in life. And I started doing that exactly. I started thinking the ways I think. I started not believing in depression, not feeling bad for your circumstances, not playing victim and blaming everything on everybody else and everything else except for yourself. Okay, I started doing that. I just started implementing that. I started implementing not acting on my emotions. Some people call it stoicism. I don't snap at people. Ever since, about 3 years ago, I don't snap at people. I don't get into arguments. It is what it is. It is what it is. Car accident. I got in a car accident. Excuse my squeaky fucking chair if you hear this shit. Car accident. It is what it is. Girl broke my heart. It is what it is. I'm sad or I'm upset or I maybe feel some type of way. Sure, that's fine. But I never sat there at one moment in the last, 3.5 years and said, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Life doesn't like me. Not once. I just started being conscious of it, writing it down. I have a set of notes in my phone from over 2.5 years ago when I first started this journey, if you will, of just quotes and phrases of things that will fortify your fucking mind and give you a different perspective. And I put my time and attention to these. I put my time and attention into books and podcasts and Q&As and whatnot of people putting things in different words and trying to get the best perspective I can on life to where I'm not thinking down here, where I'm not thinking in a negative and lackluster mindset. So that really was kind of how I started molding my mind into what I did. You just have to put your time and attention into things that you want to be. If you want to be a sad person, you're going to put your time and attention into sad things, and that's just going to become you. But if you do the inverse, that will also become you. Next question is how to actually do the tasks at hand that you're supposed to be doing instead of procrastinating. And again, this is going to tie in with what I just kind of said in that last question. Sometimes you just have to do it. Most things in life, especially everything that is valuable, you're never really going to want to do it. You might feel like it a couple times out of the month, but by and large, you're not going to fucking feel like doing it. And that's the hard part. Getting up and doing it, that's what makes it hard. That's what makes it hard to get, a good physique. You have to stay consistent with eating. You have to go to the gym when you don't want to, or else your muscles aren't going to fucking grow. When you're trying to make money, you have to kind of be redundant and keep doing the same thing over and over with little to no results. You have to just get up, even when you don't feel like doing it, because it's easy to do it when you're winning. When you that money's rolling in and you just have good things going on, you're in a good mood, you're always working out with your buddies. It's easy. Life is not hard. You don't learn much when life was happy and jolly. So those times when you don't feel like doing it, those are the times that count the most. Okay? Because let me give you guys an example. If you know you have to wake up for work tomorrow at 6 a.m., you're going to dread fucking waking up. You're going to be like, fuck this. I've been going to work for 5 years. I don't want to get up. But if you know you're getting up at that same time, but you're going on vacation, well, now you're pumped. Now you can't even sleep. You're so pumped to wake up tomorrow, right? Because you have a purpose. You have something to look forward to. But a lot of times, especially on this journey, if you're trying to, I don't want to call it the self-improvement journey because it sounds corny, but if you're on this journey of just chasing greatness, chasing to do better with your life and feel more accomplished, yeah, a lot of times you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel like doing things. Every day I wake up, I don't feel like waking up. I have to wake my ass up at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, drag my ass out of bed, drag my ass to the bathroom and brush my teeth, and then go to work and then come home and still drag my ass to the gym or to go train or to go to the grocery store to cook. I never really want to do any of it. Okay, and there is no cheat code. There is no fucking up, down, Y, Y, X, Y, Z. There's no cheat code to doing it. Sometimes you just got to pick your nuts up and do things, okay? You have to understand that the more valuable something is, the harder it's probably going to be. That is why it is hard for people to get a six-pack. It is hard for people to get rich. It is hard for people to get themselves out of their cycle of poverty, their family cycle of poverty. It's hard to do it. And that's what, I love the quote, tough times don't last forever, but tough men do. Okay, you have to be able to push through those tough times, push through the shitty and embrace it. Understand that it's going to take a long time. Understand that you're not going to want to do it. That ultimately makes it easier. Next question is, how often should you ask someone for advice, and should you do what you think is best without others' input? This is a great question. I don't think there is a cap on how many times you can ask somebody for advice. I don't think there's just a number 3 and then, you're out of advice. I think if you have the right person to give you advice and you're looking for the answer, you're looking for a solution, you can ask as much as you want. I love when people ask me questions, and I love it even more when people take my answer and go, I love that. I've never seen that before. I've never heard that before. I've never tried that before. Let me try it. And then they actually take the advice and apply it and think, right? A lot of people will ask somebody for advice, but if it's not the answer that they're really looking for, they're not going to like the advice and they're not going to take the advice, or they might try to defend whatever, So if you're willing to get a solution, if you're willing to get a fix, I don't think there's a cap on how much you should take others' advice. And as for should you do what you think is best, that can depend on the case, right? If you're asking somebody for their input or their advice and they're in a situation or they're in a life circumstance that you want to be in, whether it's financially, whatever, then yeah, maybe take their advice. Maybe not take it, but take it in the back of your mind. Ask a bunch of advice. Try to cross-reference. Try to get advice from here, get advice from there. But one thing you should never, ever do, and listen to me very closely here, is ask somebody for advice if they're in a life circumstance and life position that you do not want to live. Do not ask financial advice to the person who works in the factory for the last 40 years. You're not going to get the best advice. Don't ask advice on how to start a business to the person who's never started a fucking business. Because of course, if you ask somebody like that, they're just going to think of all the pessimism. Oh, but what if it fails? But what about insurance and taxes and payroll, and it's hard? And are you sure you can do that? Like, oh, no, just go get a job. And they're only going to bring you down. And especially if it's somebody who's close to you, somebody that you trust, you're probably going to take their word on it. So don't ask somebody for advice if they're not living that life. They haven't made it or done it or tried it. Don't ask them for advice. Next is my best piece of advice. Now, this tends to change from time to time and as I get older when people ask me this, but I think as of right now, my best piece of advice is life is better when you are better. Understand that. Most people, they wake up and they're just expecting to be happy. They're just expecting to have good people in their life, expecting to have money and health and a good physique, but they never want to fucking work for it. How the fuck does that work out? It blows my mind that people always tell me, Jason, I'm not happy. I don't feel good about my life. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And I ask them what they do in their day-to-day life, and it's nothing ever significant. It's nothing that's ever trying to push them forward to a goal. It's always just the things they have to do, like go to work to just survive and then just go have fun. The moment you guys start chasing greatness instead of chasing the feeling of happy, the moment not only your life will become great, but you'll also feel happy. It's a byproduct. You get great, you feel accomplished, you put yourself in a life circumstance that you want to be in. By extension, you will feel happy. But too many people forget the greatness part. I don't want to work. Just give me the drink, give me the J, give me the pill, give me the girl, let me go fuck. Nobody ever wants to actually put the work in for something. And it's like, how the fuck are you going to get something if you don't ever work for it? I've never seen somebody just get in shape without stepping foot into the gym, or somebody wakes up one day and just poof, whole bunch of fucking money in the bank account. I've never seen it happen. So to think that it's going to happen to you is just stupid, to say the least. Next question is, does achieving your biggest dreams actually lead to fulfillment and happiness? And does it continue to feel like a void that still needs to be filled? That's a great question. And from my personal experience, you should always have more goals, right? You think of your biggest goals. Too many people think of their big goals. I want this house. I want this. I want that. But they can't even wake up in the morning. Okay, so my first piece of advice to whoever asked me this, because I forgot, is to start setting daily goals. You set daily goals, then you'll end up hitting monthly goals. And you look back and go, I had to do that every single day to get this goal. You do those monthly goals for months, and then it turns up into a year or 2 years. And you look back and you find that you're constantly hitting milestones. Okay, you should look at goals as not the finish line, not the, blue ribbon, cut it, and hey, I'm here now, but a milestone. Because what I found is as you keep leveling up, as you keep getting better, you keep creating more goals for yourself. There's never just one goal. It's never just, I just want this many followers. I want this much money. I want, this percentage of body fat or to weigh this much. You kind of always want something different. And it doesn't mean you want more. It doesn't mean you make a certain amount of money and you want more money per se. But once you hit a goal in this category, well, now that's just a little achievement right here. You might go and set another goal for something totally different, not even related to money, something, a hobby, getting good at a skill. So I think you should always be trying to learn something and get better at something, because if you're not learning, you're dying. Okay, people always look forward to retirement, but after retirement, what is there? You just sit around the house all day and fuck off? That's pretty boring. When I'm off work for a week, I get fucking bored. I couldn't imagine doing that for years and just chilling. How do you build up motivation? Motivation? Guys, let me tell you something right now. Anybody who asks me about motivation, how do I feel motivated? I don't feel motivated. How do I get You're just born to lose. If you are so focused on motivation and feeling good to do something, you are never going to get the things that you want, and you are going to live the average life. You have to understand that when I tell you this, there are so many other people out there that you listen to, the influencers, the motivational people, the inspirational people, and they are inspirational and they are motivational. But do you think they got where they were watching Tony Robbins and watching positive affirmation videos and just getting motivated? No, they got there maybe 1% of the time for motivation, but the other 99% of the time was because they got up or they went to go do something and said, fuck this, I don't want to do it. But I remember it's follow the plan, not my mood. Okay, so you have to understand to dictate your feelings. Okay, if you wake up one day and you're angry or you're sad about something, you have to understand that the sun still goes up and goes down. You have to learn, like a hose valve, to shut your emotions off, not suppress them, not just jumble them up, but feel any emotions you're going through, but do said thing while feeling said way. Don't just give into your emotions and say, I don't feel like doing this today because I'm sad. Okay, sad's just an emotion. The shit's an illusion, because when you're happy and you're feeling good and nothing's going wrong in your life, you have no fucking problem and no deal getting up in the morning or going and doing X, Y, and Z. It's only when people are sad or they feel sad because they're playing that victim mindset that nobody wants to get up and do anything. This shit is an illusion. It is not fucking real. And once you can understand that and truly believe that, it makes it all the world easier to get up and go do the things you know you have to do, regardless of how you feel. The follow-up question is, how do I build discipline? And I love this question because I feel like a lot of people just say, just start doing it every day, bro. And a lot of what I says might sound like that, and people might interpret it as just telling you guys to just get up and do it. And ultimately it is, but there's ways to kind of build it up. And something you can do is something as simple as cleaning your room. Clean your fucking room. Clean your bathroom. Clean your car. When you have a clean space around you, your headspace can clear up. If you come home and your room's fucking trashy, then you go to work and you get in your car and your car's trashy, you go to the bathroom, your closet, your whole house is just trashy. Well, of course, your fucking mental health and your mental is going to be trashed. It's going to be garbage, okay? Because people can't even sit there and pick up after themselves anymore. And I know a lot of you guys might be, cleaning up your room and good, but a lot of you guys fucking don't. And that's an issue. And you guys might say, well, that doesn't matter. Well, it fucking matters. Just please take my advice. Start keeping the space around you clean. Why? Not only because you're not going to be a fucking slob anymore, but it gives you a sense of accomplishment. That is what discipline is, just feeling that sense of accomplishment and knowing that you will do something regardless of how you feel, regardless of the instant results, but eventually you're going to feel accomplished. That is what discipline is. You go to the gym for months or weeks and you see minimal results, but you know you're going to see results eventually. So you stay disciplined because you say, hey, if I keep going and I keep eating this good food, eventually I'm going to get accomplished. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to have a six pack. I'm going to have veins. I'm going to have big arms, whatever it is. That's what discipline is. Okay. So you can start with something as cleaning your room, writing your goals down for the day. What do I mean by goals, Jason? How do you have daily goals? Go to work. Wake up at this time and wake up at that time. That's a win number one. Then you go to work on time. You don't show up late. That's a goal. Cross it off. You come home, you say you're going to eat that good food. You do it. Cross it off. You're going to go to the gym. You go. Cross it off. When you do that a whole bunch, it creates this sense of trust with yourself. You're being impeccable with your word. Your brain's starting to notice, when this person says he's going to do something, or when this person says she's going to do something, they do it. So then it tricks your brain into just having it easier to do it. I don't want to say easier because there's going to be a lot of days where no matter how much discipline you have, you're still not going to fucking feel like doing it. But you don't crumble at your emotions like that, okay? Because a lot of people do the opposite and they crumble their self-respect. They say they're going to wake up at a certain time and they hit snooze. They say they're going to go to the gym and they say, I'll do it tomorrow. They say they're going to eat that good food. They go and eat fucking Wendy's 4 for 4. They always just fall through on their word. And over time, that breaks down. And now you have no self-confidence, no self-trust, social anxiety, depression. You don't like life. You don't feel accomplished, right? You see where I'm going with this? But if you just do the opposite, you do small things, slowly build it up. Throughout slowly building it up, every couple of weeks or months or whatever, you'll hit a milestone like we talked about earlier. You start going to the gym, You're just doing the daily goals, right? A couple months later, you're like, I'm starting to look better. You start working on that business. You're not seeing many results, but you're doing the same thing every day. You're doing what you know needs to be done. And then eventually you wake up one day and go, my bank account's bigger. So you have to understand that discipline is just the sense of accomplishment. And once you start seeing progress, it actually makes it so much better because then you can look back at your own progress and say, I made it all the way to there. And this happened and that happened. And I didn't feel like doing it a lot, but I made it there. So it gives you like a sense of motivation, but it's a different kind of motivation than if you were to watch a video. When you get motivation from yourself, that is the only motivation you truly need. When you start seeing progress, you start understanding what you are capable of, that is when you will start to conquer. Next question is, what are my thoughts on mushrooms? Now, this is a fantastic question because I feel like things like this aren't talked about that much on social media. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about them, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. I took mushrooms for the first time back when I was 18, back in 2021. And it was one of the most scariest experiences I've had, but also one of the most fun. You know, for anybody who's ever done them, I'm not really going to go into them, but you guys will get the gist of it. The first half was great, felt fun. I was with my buddy, it was great. Second half of it was just what I would call a bad trip at the time. It was humbling, right? I had a near-death experience mentally. That's what it felt like to me. And if you ever talk to somebody who had a near-death experience, they always will say that they understand life a little bit better. They understand that you only live once and that you need to be more grateful and be more respectful and be more at peace. And don't get mad at things. Life is short. You know, don't take too many things to heart. Live with an it is what it is mindset. And that trip that I had ultimately, I think, paved the way for a big portion of the way I think and the big portion of the way I'm able to control my emotions. I couldn't tell you the last time I got in an argument with somebody. I couldn't tell you the last time I yelled, like really raised my voice and got like vulgar with somebody seriously and not just in a joking way. You know, it's been since 3.5 years since I took that trip. Whenever bad things happen in my life that I can't control, I just say, hey, you know, it is what it is. I can't control it. Can I fix it? Nope. Okay. You know, I'll give you guys an example. I got in a car accident at the beginning of the year. A brand new car, only about 8,000 miles on it, had a big loan on it, got totaled. Some girl hit me. I didn't really care. You know, what am I going to get mad at? The girl hit me. She obviously was an accident for a reason. There's nothing I can change. Getting mad at her is only just going to bring my self-peace down and just make everybody kind of feel shittier. I just asked the girl, hey, are you all right? Car was fucked. I said, you okay? Okay, we're okay. All good. You know, so I can give many more examples, but that was just one. I just live with an it is what it is mindset, right? For things that I cannot control. And I really have respect for something like that can grow out of the ground and you eat it. And it truly shows you that you are not shit. And by no means am I trying to promote these or tell somebody to take them. If you want to look into them, do your own research, but don't think you're just going to take them and come out a different person. You still have to have different positive mindsets and want to think certain ways and want to actually put the work in. Next is, how many people did I have to drop in my life when I knew they weren't on the same page as me? And that's a great question because I find that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. They tell me, Jason, I know I have people around me who I need to get out of my life. I have people who complain all the time and who are negative. Let me tell you right now, those people are going to be the one to bring you down. Those people want you to drown with them. They bring you no positivity to your life, or no positive benefits, positive energy. They bring nothing like that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, once you start thinking a certain way and being at peace with yourself and with your brain, being able to control your mind, you won't tolerate people like that in your life. And as hard as that might be to do, whether that's family members or close friends who you've known, there's been so many people who I've known the majority of my life who I just don't talk to anymore. And it's no hard feelings towards them. We're just on different paths. We just don't think certain ways. They like to do things that I frown upon. They like to do things that I don't like to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because those people were a great part of my life. And those people gave me a lot of memories and gave me a lot of the person I am today. But at the end of the day, you can't sit there and hold on to people who you know shouldn't be in your life. And if it's family members, try to not surround yourself with them as much as you can, right? Unless it's somebody in your immediate family. But even then, just try to keep your head low and try not to let those people pull you down, because it's going to be hard, especially when you know they shouldn't be there and you just don't know how to get them out of your life. Just quit talking to them. Quit making plans with them. Quit going out with those types of people. And it will make your life so much more peaceful. Next is, what books did I read? I like reading, but the problem I have with reading is that a lot of people think they're going to read a book and just instantly become way smarter and a different person, have totally different perspectives on life. And that's just not the case in about 99% of the time. You might see some sentences that are truly perspective changing, like I have. But in most cases, you have to actually think of what somebody's trying to tell you in these books, these self-improvement books and psychology books and whatnot. But you also kind of have to put the advice to play. You have to read what you read in a book and actually try to apply it in real life. And that's something that a lot of people don't do, because again, people are fucking lazy nowadays and they just want a quick way out. Let me read the book and get smarter. Let me read the book and act this way and think this way. No. Okay, so you actually have to understand what you're reading and try to actually break it down. Some books I've read, I have some here. The Laws of Human Nature. It's a fantastic book. It's a pretty hard book to read, a lot of big words, but if you can actually sit here and read a 600-page book, you will gain a lot from it and get a lot of different perspectives on why people do certain things, act certain ways, how to tell if people, right? It's a good book. I think people should read it, but a book that I think you should read first is something like The Four Agreements. I think that book is good to kind of see how you should be acting and things that you can implement into your life. I think The Four Agreements for people who are just starting is a great book. It's easy to read. It's about 120 pages. You can read it in a day if you wanted to. I think that is a great book to start. Another book I absolutely love is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. When I read this book, a lot of the things that were being said were things that I already thought. They were just kind of put into different words or kind of brought to light a little bit more. So I think if you can sit there and reflect and open your brain up, a lot of these books, if just drop your arrogance, a lot of these books can actually help you. Actually kind of sit there and free think. Like, think for yourself when people are saying certain things in books, and you'll get a good understanding of maybe why you think certain ways and why other people think certain ways. What does my daily routine look like? So at 4 a.m. I wake up, 4:15 I stretch, 4:30 I go to the gym, 4:45 I have my second cup of coffee, by 5 o'clock I'm in the gym. Come on now, man. Y'all do not need to be having a morning routine like that or a daily routine like that in general. You see people always talking about that shit, all these stretching and you don't need to do any of that. As long as you can get up and do the things, I don't care if you do them at 4 a.m., 4 p.m., midnight, it doesn't matter. As long as you have goals and you know what you need to do to get to those goals and you get them done in a 24-hour day, that's all that fucking matters, okay? My daily routine, I wake up, I go to work 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, whatever it is. I come home, I eat clean, whole foods. I don't skip to fucking McDonald's and 7-Eleven and Burger King. I eat clean, whole foods, and I either go box or kickbox or I lift. I usually can't fit both in a weekday, but on the weekends, that's when I do both. So that's what my day consists of, right? I go to work, I'm making videos or editing videos at any time I can, or trying to go live to build my platform, reading at work, anything I can. And then when I get off work, I do the shit I have to do, like edit those videos or post those videos, go train, go to the grocery store, cook, and then I go to sleep. It's not the most fun life a lot of the times. I don't really hang out with people that often, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with just doing the same thing every day, knowing that it's getting me further, knowing that it's getting me closer to my goals and the things I actually want to achieve. Last question is, should people sleep around after getting out of a relationship, aka the hoe phase? Absolutely not. You are not going to get anything positive out of just going and fucking a bunch of other girls or a bunch of other guys after you get cheated on, or after somebody leaves you, or after you leave somebody. Regardless, it's an unfillable void, okay? Likewise with drugs and drinking and pills. Fucking a whole bunch of people is an unfillable void. You'll always want to fuck somebody hotter. You'll always want to fuck somebody with a better body. You'll never get enough of it, and you'll find yourself just chasing happiness. Let's reroute back to this. I said it at the beginning of the video. Chase greatness and happiness will come. Chase accomplishment, happiness will come. Quit chasing the feeling of being happy. Doing that and just fucking people. Not only that, what the fuck is the STD rate in America? Somebody go Google that for me. Y'all players are wild for just going out, fucking a bunch of people, and then what? It feels good for 15 minutes, and then what, right? It's easy to go out and fuck a bunch of people. It's hard to sit there, work on yourself, be the person that you want to be the person that other people want to be around, and then find somebody, meet somebody. Don't go looking for it, right? Have it come to you. Just by chance you find it. Build a connection with that person, keep a stable connection with that person, and grow a loving relationship. That is much harder to do than just go out and fuck people. Anybody can download a dating app and go fuck somebody. Anybody can go to a club or a bar and just get some meow. It's not hard, okay? So there's nothing positive you're gonna get out of just going out and fucking people. You're losing your energy, you're draining your energy, you're wasting your time. Nothing positive, okay? So the answer is no. So that is all the questions I got. I know that's pretty fucking lame. I don't have that many people asking me questions yet, but we'll do another one soon. And I do have a lot of videos that I want to make at length for you guys. I have a bunch of videos. I know I post TikToks and they're only 1 to 2 minute long videos. I want to be able to sit here and speak for 5, 10, 15 minutes, one take, no cuts, about topics that I'm very passionate about, topics that I think are very perspective changing or just very informational as is, that I'm going to bring to you guys. I'm going to maybe try to go for 1 to 2 videos a week. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll pump out 4. Maybe we'll pump out 5. I'm not sure. We're just going to kind of go with the flow here, but we're definitely going to go for at least 1 a week. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy these videos. I'm going to try to keep it in similar topics, but everything on how to just make your life better, improve your life. And while you guys are doing that and learning, I'm also learning. I'm also doing things day by day that are making my life better, things I'm learning, and you guys are really going to enjoy it.